Well, hello, good afternoon, and welcome to our latest Bath Life Presents. This one with Bath Festivals. My name is Greg Ingham from Bath Life's publisher, Media Clash, and thank you for joining us. This is sort of an amuse-bouche for the Bath Festival itself in May. And aren't we blessed in Bath to have so much cultural vitality? We'll be focusing mainly on the Literature Festival today, though of course there are a number of outstanding music offerings during the festival, which runs from Friday, May 17th to Sunday, May 26th, as you can see there. Such stimulation, such prompts to reflection, and with leading literature and non-fiction writers, the very finest opportunity to see the world through others' eyes. The singular visions of leading writers opened up live on stage for you. We'll be speaking shortly with Joe Haddow for Bath Festivals. Please do send your questions and thoughts using the Q&A button below. Add your name and organisation name if you fancy, or be anonymous, up to you. I think we may have had a couple already. Note that, of course, this is being recorded and will be on our Bath Life YouTube channel later. First up, a quick plug, if I may, for another very fine, typically Bath event that's coming up, which is the Bath Boule. Ah oui, Le Boule will be back, July 4 to 7th in Queen Square. Perfect social business occasion, raised a ton of money for local charities, over £750,000 a day. No one actually knows how much, might even be 800,000, who knows? Thursday and Friday teams are already running very low, and there's a special friends and family option for the Sunday. Plug over. So this is a Bath Live Presents, and we're keen to showcase interesting initiatives, new companies, and unmissable events in the city, like today. This is a shot of the Bath Life Award to be seeing shortly. And it's precisely because of your support for Bath Life that we can be an echo chamber for all that's best in this remarkable city. And yeah, we're delighted once more to be the official media partner for Bath Festivals. Right, let's do this thing. Let's first of all see the all-new trailer, a Bath Life exclusive right here. Here we go. Well, there we are. Let's bring Joe forward and have a word with Joe Haddow, please. Joe, good afternoon.
Hello, Greg. How are you?
Well, I'm all right. How are you? Tell us how you are and a little bit about your background, then we'll come on to the festival.
All right. Well, I'm very intrigued about Bath Ball, to be honest. I feel like I remember doing a bit of practice in France. Maybe I could come to that in
Actually,
July.
honestly, Joe, the best way to practice it is not so much that as that.
Yes,
It's
understood.
it's a very convivial event, as indeed the festival is. So, to talk about how you got involved with it and what you were doing prior to this.
Yes, well, I've had a lot of years in books, if you like. I have the privilege of producing the Radio 2 book club, and have done since 2012. I'm an author myself. I'm a children's author, and I host quite a lot of literary events just around the country. And when I was asked if I wanted to come and be guest curator for Bath, a festival which I've loved for many years, I've been at several years, I just sort of leapt at it. The idea being that I would work with the wonderful team there to bring some of the authors I know and love that I think would also do really well in Bath to the festival, and showcase a real breadth of different writing and voices and genres and that kind of thing.
Yeah, great. Well, we'll come on to a number of specific authors, a little bit also about the process, how on earth you get such amazing names year in, year out. But perhaps give a little bit of framing about Bath Festivals, frankly, what it does, why it does it, and how long it's been doing it.
Yeah, well, it's been going for 75 years, I think, Greg. I haven't been to all of those ones, to be fair. But I think from my time in being in Bath previously and going to this wonderful festival, it's a real community spirit. I find it's bringing local people together as much as it is bringing tourists and people from book lovers from all over the country and further afield. And it showcases great music. It showcases great literature. It's a place for people to meet. I know that book clubs come. Book clubs that might meet regularly will actually come to events there and use that as a reason to get together and discuss. So from my experience of it, and I hope this year, it's a very social occasion, and it really is showcasing the beauty of Bath.
Yeah, that is a lovely idea. The idea of book clubs coming to hear an author that they have either read or about to read, because it gives so much of a distinctive insight. If you can actually hear the author talking about their work directly, must be pretty compelling.
And I also think that you could use our festival program to maybe choose your next book club choice, couldn't you? If you were looking for inspiration, you could think, this one. And then by the time you get around to Bath Festival, you hopefully have read it, and then you could hear them talk about it.
Well, we've doubtless got a few book clubs watching today and on the recording this as well. So top tip there, if you haven't already done it, I suspect you probably have, to be honest. So tell us, again, keeping it top level, a little bit about how this festival looks. Any, I don't know, other key themes, perhaps anything different or new after the triumphant anniversary issue event last year?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually, Greg. I think when we sat down to think about it initially, when we had almost a blank canvas, and we were talking about what we wanted it to be or what we wanted the events to sort of represent this year, my feeling was that I wanted to spread joy, and I wanted the events themselves to be joyful. I feel like, and that's not saying, straying away from important topics or conversations, but there's an awful lot of noise in our heads and on our TV screens and on our phones every day. And actually, I think escapism is so important now more than ever. And to be able to do that through literature, through human connection, through listening to conversations between brilliant people, it's a really good way of just disconnecting from what might be happening elsewhere. So we've tried to bring a joyous collection of authors together. Some of the pairings we hope are going to be very funny and entertaining. And we hope that with quite a lot of our events, you'll sort of come away with maybe a different view on things as well.
Yeah, indeed. And having said that about joyousness, we've got a short video in a few moments which touches on that very joyous point. But I'm going to come to a slightly more serious point. We'll be showing a little montage in a moment of some of the events we've got. But it's noticeable. You've got a number of leading names you've lined up for Bath. Just on that, the first full day of the festival, there's Danny Finkelstein with his extremely well-reviewed book, Hitler, Stalin, Mum and Dad. Clive Murray, Everything is Everything. Talk us about the process, as outsiders to it. What's the process of getting such big names to Bath? Does the city's reputation help? Or is it the festival itself?
Oh yeah,
Accommodation?
I think both. When you approach an author, a celebrity, a chair, and you say it's at Bath Festival, they either already know of it because they've been either as a punter or they've appeared there before, or they love the city. And I think that's one of its greatest strengths when going to ask lots of different people if they would come on a weekend or midweek and do an event, is they know that Bath is beautiful. They know the festival is very welcoming. And actually, I have to say, Greg, I think the audience is a big part of it. A lot of these authors travel the country. They do lots of events at various different venues and in various different towns and cities. And I think they're always welcomed in Bath. They always get really great audiences and really interesting questions from those audience members as well. And of course, they get to meet their readers. And that's one of the things that we find is the biggest part of authors coming and doing events. They get to meet the people that are reading their book and hear from them. And that is one of the biggest selling points, I think.
Yeah, definitely a very engaged audience. And one of the reasons is there's a number of authors with local connections, such as Danny Wallace, I see, is appearing. He worked at Future in the 90s, a magazine
Oh,
publisher.
really?
Yeah, knew him back in those days. And he's talking about, you talk about joyous things. Danny's talking about conspiracy theories. There we go.
In a joyous way.
In a joyous way. Good luck with that one on Thursday, 23rd of May. And another, of course, with great local connections is the inestimable Jonathan Dimbleby talking on that same Thursday. I mean, do you think there's anything about this is one of these fatuous questions, here we go, that Bath has such a rich heritage of writers and that plays a part in the festival's success as well?
Yeah, I do. I think it would be very easy though, wouldn't it, to just be like Austin, Austin, Austin or something every year and then across the events. And I think there's so much more to Bath and its heritage. And actually what we're trying to do is look at the more contemporary writers who are coming from Bath specifically, or that area. I know we've got a couple of Bristol authors coming. We've got another couple of local authors who are crime novelists, and a few chairs who live close by and actually wanted to be part of the festival. They wanted to do some interviews with some of these brilliant authors we've got coming. So yeah, I think the heritage helps, and I think it's evolving. I think you come to Bath in 2024 and actually you'll discover someone that you didn't know about, and hopefully in years to come they're still writing and publishing, and you can sort of follow their career.
Well, this is almost scripted, and you know that it isn't. But in talking about the local writers with great modernity and with sort of singular offerings, one of whom, of course, is Max Porter, who has become an extremely well-known author, Bath-based. The stunning novel Grief is a Thing with Feathers, which is just a beautiful poetic piece of work. He's talking with Kathy Rensenbrink, herself obviously an author, about writing workshops around her novel Ordinary Time at I think that's at Waterstone. It's also on 23rd of May. Busy day. Here's Kathy. Let's have a listen to this.
Hello, my name is Kathy Rensenbrink, and I'm talking to you from just in the corner of my bookshelves in my house, but I'm talking to you about the fact that I'm coming back to Bath as writer in residence of the festival, which I'm thrilled about because I love the city and I love the festival. So I'm very happy to be coming back. I'm doing 2 writing workshops, one of which involves, we're going to go swimming afterwards at the Cleveland pools. If you don't fancy swimming, come along to the American Museum. I'm also going to be talking about my next novel. It's called Ordinary Time, and it's out in July. But we're doing a pre-publication event where I'm going to be talking to my friend and wonderful writer and novelist and generally brilliant human being, Max Porter. And everybody who comes will get one of these, which is a chapter sampler. It's just like the little beginning bit, look. So I'm at that stage of the writing process where I'm just sort of in love with the jacket of my book, having finished all the hard work. So there we go. So do come to the festival. I'm also interviewing lots of people. Joshua Fletcher and Benji Waterhouse are going to be talking about therapy, and we maybe even get to the bottom of what the difference is between a psychiatrist and a psychotherapist. And they'll be talking about their brilliant books. And I'm also, there's such a brilliant loads of things that I would like to go and see. So the other writer in residence is my friend Kit Duvall. She'll be interviewing Clive Myrie, amongst a host of other things. And I really want to see Sarah Pascoe and Carrie Lloyd. Funny women. What's not to love about funny women? But there's fantastic things on for the whole time. I'm pleased to be coming. I hope you'll come too, and that we'll just have a beautiful time having honest connection with other human beings through the very joyous existence of long-form narrative, which is what I'm all about these days. So I hope I'll see you there.
Well, Kathy, that was absolutely lovely. That sense of joyousness shining through. And Joe, she's such a fan of Bath and the festival. It must be a joy for you personally to be involved with such positive, creative, generous people.
Absolutely. And Kathy's come back and back to Bath, and we love having her there. And so we want her there every year. She brings so much joy. She's such a reader. She absolutely loves books and literature and writing, and is such a champion of other people. And obviously, she's a wonderful writer herself. And actually, yeah, the writing workshops that she's going to do, I know she's done before, and they just have been so popular in years gone by that we're doing them again. I'm not sure if we've ever done it with the swimming or not, but I'm definitely signed up for the swimming. I don't know if you're going to join us, Greg, but I am up for it.
Well, you wouldn't wish to bounce me into something live, would you? I'll come back to you on that one. But in fact, I'm going to move swiftly sideways elsewhere into literature, which is one of the other. There are many standouts this year, but one of the particular standouts is David Mitchell, talking on the 20th anniversary of the just utterly genre-defying masterpiece, Cloud Atlas. That's quite a coup.
Yeah, it is. I've been a fan of David for years and years and years. And I mean, I can't believe it's 20 years since Cloud Atlas came out, to be honest with you. I've had the pleasure of interviewing him and hanging out with him a bit. And, when we were able to secure him coming over, it was a big moment for us. He's one of those writers that seems to be sort of universally loved and respected, really, across the writing community and across the reading community. And I think it's often quite good to take a book that is old or older and relook at it, and just go back in and see what does it mean in 2024 versus 2004 and what's changed and what hasn't. And it's sometimes quite nice. It's a bit like rereading books. And I know some people do and some people don't, but when you pick up a book that you've loved 10, 15, 20 years later, you sort of read it differently, I think.
Yeah, you view it through another prism. It's something like Catcher in the Rye, you read as a teenager, it's quite a different experience as a fully fledged whatever.
Yeah.
Looking at the other greatest hits, and as I say, a number of big names. One is Will Gompertz, is returning this year on May 25th, BBC Arts presenter. A highly stimulating book, See What You're Missing. I personally had the great pleasure of interviewing him at last year's Lit Fest, but I wondered, how do you decide to have the same author twice running?
I think there's a few authors who are just so popular and can offer such a great conversation and a point of difference that we want them back again. I think with Will, last year it proved so popular and people couldn't get to the event and were so sad to have missed it or couldn't get in. And we thought, actually, let's bring him back for the people who didn't get to see him last year. And for those that perhaps want to come back and get another perspective, because with someone like him who talks about, art and culture and life in the world, it's ever evolving, really. And we heard from Kathy, she's come back again and again and always brings something new. So we're thrilled to have Will back, actually. And as such a sort of supporter and advocate of the city and the festival, he brings joy as well as his great passion and knowledge.
Yeah. Another joy bringer. Mentioning presenters, you clearly have many interesting people presenting the sessions as well. For example, here's Kit Duval.
Hello, I'm Kit Duval, and I'm delighted to be appearing at the Bath Festival. Bath is probably the most beautiful city in the whole of England, so I'm always eager to go there. I am doing 3 events, one with Clive Myrie, one with Tracy King, and one with Carrier Lloyd. I would love to see you there and really looking forward to it. Bye.
Goodbye, and also hello in a few days' time, Kit. Joe, tell us a little bit about Kit Duval, please.
I've known Kit for years, and she's one of my favourite humans. She wrote her first novel, My Name is Leon, you may know, which was also adapted into a BBC TV series, and has since gone on to write other novels and a memoir, and she's working on screenplays. She's, again, a huge advocate for writers and authors. And her story and her life is just so interesting because she didn't get published until she was in her sort of late 50s, I think was when her first book got published. She had a whole other career before that, but is now an incredibly successful best-selling novelist and writer. And she's just so brilliant. And the great thing about having someone like Kit or Kathy as our sort of writers in residence and chairing events is what you get in those conversations is a writer's viewpoint asking another writer about their books or about their experiences, which is often so interesting because they sometimes ask things that you might not expect.
Well, I don't know if you do expect this question I'm going to ask you, but give it a go. Of course, the festival is not solely about the big names. And one of the joys of any form of festival is hearing from someone new or unexpected. I wondered if in this vein, who you might steer people to consider.
Yes, that's a great question. I think we've got, as you said, quite a lot of big names, but we're championing new voices left, right, and centre as well. I know that Jenny Godfrey is going to be there on the first weekend. Her book, The List of Suspicious Things, is one of the big debuts of 2024. It's been everywhere, and it's really, really brilliant. So she's in conversation. There's a wonderful poet called Selena Godden, who you may or may not know, who is absolutely phenomenal. I saw her compose and perform a poem for Windrush 75 last year at the Royal Albert Hall, and she silenced the whole of the Albert Hall, hanging on her every word. Just such a powerful storyteller, and she's doing a great event. And then we have authors like Abigail Dean and Stig Abel. They're doing an event together. So Stig is known for being he was editor of the Times educational supplement. I think he's got a morning show on Times Radio now. And he's written his second novel, which is coming out, and it's detective fiction, and Abby's is a thriller. And again, names you may know or may not, but well worth coming and discovering, because you might just find your next favorite author.
Yeah, that's a chance moment of discovery, particularly when you have an author live talking about his or her work is exactly one of the key elements of festivals. If you're there for one, go to another, I'm sure, is a standard piece of advice. Of course, whilst today we've been mainly focused on writers, there are, of course, several stunning, highly eclectic music events, from Brahms to Beethoven, folk. There's an ABBA 50th anniversary celebration. There's even a screening of Nosferatu, the extraordinary silent movie, with live music. And yeah, in that vein of music, the festival itself kicks off with a party in the city on Friday, May 17th. Any early little reveals about what that might look or rather sound like?
I couldn't possibly give you any early reveals there. No, I think you have to come and experience it. But I am absolutely intrigued by the live organist to Nosferatu because it's quite a late night event, I think, and the idea being that it's all dark outside, and so they're creating the atmosphere in the venue. That's going to be amazing. I think from what I know about previous Party in the Cities is obviously they take over the whole city and it's free events, and there's so many different. I mean, the great thing about Bath is there's so many amazing venues that you can put music or literature in. So on Friday the 17th, it doesn't matter where you go, whether it's going to be in the Abbey or you're going to go to the park. There'll be something for everyone. That's all I can say, Greg.
Yeah, and it's lovely when the city comes to life and people can access and just have a sense of an occasion. And that point about lots of great venues. I think Nosferatu's at Christchurch, which is it's barely about an eighth of a mile from our Bath Life offices here. So, and that will be spooky, sepulchral, and wonderful, and also not a bit scary, I'm sure.
Right, sepulchral is a great word. Love that.
Well, it may or may not be true. I don't know. But anyway, it is a stunning film in its own right. But with a live or orchestra or band, rather, it'll be remarkable. So tell me, we've talked about loads of things. Try and encapsulate. I'm going to put you on the spot on this one. What are you personally most looking forward to? Pick 2 or 3 or something, even if you've said them before.
Well, I think it's fair to say that I am a huge David Mitchell fan, so I am very excited about that. Michael Ball is coming to the festival for on our last weekend. In fact, I think he's closing the festival on Sunday the 26th. And I love Michael. Again, he brings joy, and obviously with such an incredible West End career and his radio career and his music career, he's got loads to talk about, and it's about his memoir. So we'll be delving into his life, and I'm really excited about that. We've got a musician and poet called Cara Dillon who's performing, and I saw Cara about 20 odd years ago in a small venue, and I was absolutely blown away by her. And she's had an incredible career. She's a wonderful musician, and that event is going to be a mixture of her playing some songs live, reading from her book, telling some poems. I think that's going to be really, really beautiful. So I'm excited about that too. And then Kit already mentioned Clive Myrie. That's on the first weekend. And, he's become a sort of national treasure, really, hasn't he?
Yes.
And such an incredible career, so interesting. So I'll definitely be at that one as well.
Yeah, I mean, there are just so many highlights. I wondered about the rest of the festival team. What are they particularly excited about, as well as the existing ones?
You mentioned ABBA there, and actually it's Gabby Roslin in conversation with Giles Smith, 50-year anniversary of ABBA. And I know there's quite a few ABBA fans in the team who are going to be going down there to sing along to some songs, whether they're invited to or not. There's also quite a buzz around our Myrtle event, and this book, Myrtle, that came out last year, was a huge seller and people love it. And so we're actually doing a live Myrtle event in Waterstones.
Sorry, Joe, for those who may not know, I know it's a #1 bestseller, but for those who don't know, what actually is a Myrtle event?
What is it? It's sort of like a puzzles and games that help you solve a murder in the book. And this will be a real life version. So part of being in the audience will be partly solving, and there it is, right on cue. the murder that has happened. So we'll have a few stooges, I think, that will be playing characters. And in the 45 minutes, 50 minutes of the event, you'll be looking at the cues, solving some puzzles and actually finding out who the murderer is.
Right. Well, an eclectic cornucopia of happenings between the 17th and 26th. On to practicalities with so many events. What's the best way for people to go through the program or discover what's on? Or, if you were a newbie to this, where would you start?
Personally, I love just sitting and looking through online actually and browsing, and we've tried to encapsulate what each event will be like, and what's expected from it. I also think you can sort of take it day by day or weekend by weekend rather than being overloaded with 9-10 days of what's happening. So get a cup of tea and have a little scroll on the Bath website. Maybe pick a day that you might be free and you might want to pop into the centre of town and discover something, because there might just be something that takes your fancy.
There might just be indeed. And through the wonders of technology, if you hold your phone up, I know it's a bit meta, but we'll give it a go. Hold your phone up to this QR code. It will take you straight to the brochure and booking. And of course, there's tickets available for most. Some I know are pretty close to selling out already, which is extraordinary because they've only just gone on sale. So general bookings available now. There's the brochure, the website, the Bath box office, and we will also be putting details, links, and so on through our Bath Life social. Joe, the half hour has absolutely whizzed by, and thank you to you and to the Bath Festival team. But I wonder if you had some closing thoughts on the festival.
Just to say that I'm so excited to be coming and spending 10 days in Bath. I think the team have done a fantastic job. We are really proud of this program. I think there's something for everyone, we hope. It's such a mixture of genres and voices and different styles of writing. So please do have a look, and hopefully you'll find, if not 1, 2, 3, 4 events that you want to come and see, and come and support us, and we'd love to see you there.
Yeah, and as you mentioned previously, also perhaps sample those you know less well. But there is absolutely, it's quite clear, an excellent array of writers at the festival this year. There's all those we've mentioned, and there's a few others we haven't, including Lynn Barber, Howard Jacobson, George Monbiot, Charlie Higson, Helen Lederer, and particularly one that I find journalistically interesting, the extraordinary expose by Nick Wallace that blew open the great post office scandal. There's a special panel session for that on the closing day, May 26th. So please do explore that program. It's your word again, it's a joy just doing that. It's a voyage of discovery, working out which events you wish to attend. And we do, on behalf of Bath Life, look forward to seeing you there. Thank you to everyone watching this. And Joe and the team, congrats on getting together a cracking program. And we look forward to seeing you towards the end of May. Thank you for your support for Bath Life as well. This has been a Media Clash production, and this has been a very special Bath Life Presents with Bath Festivals. Thank you. Thanks.